Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com. What is this? This is our daily brief recap, our free YouTube show. Man, I do so many shows. Half the time, I don't even know who I'm talking to. I have to think about that for a moment. Anyway, welcome back to the Frivolity. This is our sort of 10-15 minute summary of the market. And unfortunately, we're in kind of the summer doldrums right now. So it's awfully tough to talk about stuff new when you're just waiting. We haven't kicked into that sort of summer frivolous season in the market that we usually get July, August. Usually coming out of sort of the last week of June, first week of July, you get a nice transition. End of sort of tax law selling season for the Southern Hemisphere. Beginning of things like the summer driving season, summer vacation season, people heading out of northeastern cities off to vacation properties along the East Coast. Canadians, for instance, half of Toronto, which is sort of our financial city, vacates and everybody heads up to the cottage country north of the city. I don't know, here on the West Coast there isn't enough. Well, I suppose there is, but it's not a big enough population to make that big of a difference. But needless to say, this whole COVID world, where is work by definition right now? Is there even things like vacations in this kind of environment? A lot of this kind of stuff's up in the air. I would say that this is a big function of the sort of Jupiter-Saturn cross transition every 20 years. That event has to happen, and we get a massive shift in the economy. This year, of course, in this particular cycle is a doozy one, where theoretically we have something like 5 or 6 different celestial events all happening in these cycles. Everything from things like financial asset resets. What's the definition of money? That concept is being reset right now. Obviously, the sickness and plague and disease, that cycle is obviously wreaking havoc with us right now. There's silly little things like generational shifts. Those cycles are undergoing change. So you can actually see the various these 5 or 6 different cycles all sort of playing out as we go through these very tumultuous years. We also have a big political cycle, which unfortunately, they say that the United States of America is, as sort of world hegemony, that kind of idea, maybe losing its global prominence. I can see it happening as we speak. I suppose the question is, does the country actually even survive in its current form following this cycle leaving event? There's a lot of people in this world that think that the days of the former sort of Cold War adversaries are long over. I will say it was fascinating to watch through the last greed cycle peak, the dissolution of the Soviet Union, Mikhail Gorbachev running around desperately trying to keep everything together. And it was inevitable watching the collapse. You might actually draw a lot of similarities with this sort of inevitable nature of the way that this United States of America story is unwinding. It's just kind of a shame. Sure, there were a lot of people when the Soviet Union collapsed, they sort of shed a tear or two for that life that they enjoyed and they liked. I don't know, it's a tough one. I will say that the sheer fabric of our society is really being torn right now. And honestly, I don't even know what the hell this world's going to look like on the other side of it, but it's not going to look like the world that we are used to from the latter part of the 20th century, that's for sure. I am exceedingly pleased as sort of one proxy, one sort of anecdote, if you will, of our moving into the next century, even something like this TRI experience Sjord getting to the point where he can articulate some of these concepts that I've been working with, sort of on a very sort of, you get your charts in the mail and everything has to be done analog and by hand and very tedious. And now Sjord's got to the point where he's almost automated this entire process and the computers basically can take over now. It's quite remarkable, really. And of course, I showed you like some of the technical signaling systems that he's developing here. I mean, it's next level shit that he's working on. These will be, I've said this before, I think an excellent historical analogy to someone like Sjord is a gentleman that started Interactive Brokerage House. And of course, that guy's richer than stink. So my suggestion to all of you is get long Sjord futures. He's going to be a very wealthy man by the end of all of this. We are in summer doldrums. We are trying to make our way through, both a contentious political arena where, the right wing is going to try and prevent the left wing from enacting bigger government, more debt, that kind of stuff. The debate's raging right now. And interesting, too, starting to get talk about sickness ramping up, although I think the sickness is going to be used more as an excuse rather than a cause. So I believe that the 1%, the banksters, whoever you want to blame, they are sort of engineering this pullback in equity prices and asset prices to motivate politicians to pass more free money, free stimulus, blah, blah, blah. The problem with that, of course, is that they can throttle things like small business really, really well. And so, our resident Russell 2000 trader, Kevin here, I think he's been noticing that things like the Russell 2000 stock index and the small cap market is kind of underperforming of late. What do you think, Kevin? Is that a fair assessment?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay, well, there's a very dry response. Anyway, yeah, I'd say it's been kind of shitty. I mean, the small cap market, where's all the banging out doubles? Like, what the fuck? So we're just sitting here waiting. And, if you participate in the speculative part of the market, you have to wait for this speculative sort of free money kind of atmosphere to come back. That's when this stuff goes crazy. And right now, like I said, I think there's politics being played and everybody's sort of jockeying. One thing I did notice, which I suppose is kind of maybe a good thing for crypto, is if anything, what we're really lacking right now is catalysts. We need catalysts to set the event for the next cycle. Maybe the catalyst is big government spending programs on infrastructure. Maybe the catalyst is we have to outlaw non-American US dollar stablecoins, and everybody goes piling into crypto or piling into DeFi and gets the hell out of stablecoin. Whatever, we just need some sort of catalyst. So how's that political situation coming along? I think that the politicians are being more motivated. So maybe that's one reason why risk is coming back here a little bit. You can see US dollars kind of topping out here a bit. The oil market did come off, but we don't really want to see the damn oil market ratchet right back higher because, things like Delta Airlines, they're trying to tell the market, hey, we're not happy. That's this transports versus the Dow. We don't want the Dow to keep going up to new highs and the transports be actually pretty well contained within a downtrend. That's a massive divergence. It's not healthy at all. So summer doldrums, screwy market stay. Fed, don't fight the Fed. Fed said, hey, we're going to prop this market up. It's, I even heard, you want to see a great analogy of the type of market we're in right now? I was sort of surfing through old Fed governor's speeches. And I thought this was interesting. There was a Fed governor that was interviewed by Frontline back, and this is July 13th. That's not that long ago. What the fuck? The power of the Fed. And this Fed governor's like, I don't like what's going on inside of the Fed. Something stinks. And then all of a sudden, this happens. We're sorry, but this video is not available. Why? My comment is the power of the Fed, indeed. This is public broadcasting. I thought public broadcasting was immune to all the political bullshit that the banksters force on us. What the fuck? Aren't these things, isn't this supposed to be like public? Isn't the public allowed to talk about how we're getting a bit concerned about how these bankers are absolutely out of control and they've completely destroyed the purchasing power of our currency? Hello? I mean, what the fuck? So, I mean, how are you supposed to make head or tail out of this? You say, well, that's overvalued and it should come down to earth. And then these guys come along and say, well, but if that happens, then we're in trouble. So we're not going to let that happen. I mean, that's what's going on here, folks. Kind of sad. But anyway, I mean, what do you do in this environment? And it's interesting because now they've got the public just listening to people. They've actually got the public to the point where they are. Doesn't matter. Fed's going to guarantee the market. Just buy anything. Doesn't matter. You're guaranteed to make money. Oh, yeah. How's that going to work in the long run? The worst part about it is these cocksuckers are going to get everybody to come piling in on the long side. They're going to get everybody to go and buy houses they can't afford. They're going to go get everybody to buy cars they can't afford. And then all of a sudden they're going to lose control of the market. Because keep in mind, the market is way bigger than any one government, any one institution. The market is always way bigger. You can push the market for so long, but then the market ultimately takes over. And then a whole bunch of people are going to get really, really hurt. This is like the ant versus the grasshopper. Of all people, the Federal Reserve Board of the United States of America should not be grasshoppers. They should be ants. So what the hell is going on in this world? It's pretty sad, really. I mean, how do I keep coming back to you guys day after day after day when I know that this whole thing is it's a con? I mean, it's frustrating. So, literally you want to make more money speculating on the long side of the market. What you want is the banksters to get what they want out of the politicians, get the United States of America, this entity, to go and guarantee a whole bunch more new debt, which is going to, of course, create a whole bunch of price inflation. So your loaf of bread's going to $50, but at the same time, your Bitcoin goes to $1 million. Woo! That's the type of environment that to keep this fugazi going, that's what has to happen. In essence, I have to sit here and I have to endorse bad economics. And like I said, one day the market's going to go. It's kind of like what you saw happen in Bitcoin last winter. Bad economics, people coming out and saying, oh, it doesn't matter what the price does, just buy it. You're guaranteed to make money. And the damn things keep going up. And then all of a sudden, boom, the whole damn market falls apart. I'll tell you, I mean, if anything, it's fun because on the site and in our sort of daily videos, we have a video broadcast that we do through our day traders room called the Battle Stations, where we just sit and talk shit. And hey, people seem to enjoy it. So awesome. And of course, we have our daily briefs. If anything, it's almost comical to listen to the Beamish rant day in, day out. It does make for good edutainment, I'll tell you that much. But at least I'm being honest with you guys about what I see happening here, because this stinks like yesterday's garbage. So I'm not going to go and kiss the Fed's ass and say what a wonderful job you've done, because really, I personally think they've completely fucked this up. I've said this before, though. Either they've completely fucked this up and they're stupid as shit, or maybe they're really, really smart, and this is exactly the way that they wanted this thing to go. And sadly, I believe in the latter, not the former. These people are very, very smart, and they've actually got the public now thanking them for this highway robbery, which I almost want to die stand beside God and say, why did you put me through this? It's not fair what you're doing to these humans. I don't get it. I don't know. Well, it is this crazy universe. You know, the Arabs actually believe that this is hell that we're in right now, and we have to earn our way out of here. This kind of behavior, this to me actually seems exactly like what hell would be. You know, where some third party entity decides your fate and you have absolutely no choice about it. And they almost laugh in your faces. You know, you see the way Joey acts when he talks to the public. He's fucking arrogant as shit. I mean, that's the definition of hell, especially from a guy like me that can see all of this and there's nothing I can do about it. What a perfect definition of hell. So anyway, there's a fun message for you today. I will tell you though, you know, and maybe I'm one of these funny little anomalies in hell that you guys, it was the Chinese. They had really bad scopes, so they could never hit me. But I do see the guy sitting over in his building. He keeps firing that damn rifle at me. But the Chinese equipment, you know, either the rifle seizes or the scope is made of crappy baby formula glass or something made out of carpet. But the Bagsters, they're pretty good. So I got to be careful with the Bagsters. They've got pretty good sights. But I was taught a really simple investing model by an old VSC floor broker. Smart as a whip. Love you dearly, Chris Forehand. I have a feeling you're not with us anymore. So God rest your soul, sir. Thank you for teaching me this years and years and years ago. But what's so cool about this now is I can actually sit here and I can, you know, all of these names over the past 4 or 5 years that I've run this model on TRI, you know, just year after year we get names. And, you know, this one was 10x off the lows. Lithium names. This was trade from a year or two ago. In fact, this was a Lithium name. This was the very first one that we did with a German student of mine. I mean, great money on this. So the cool part about this is actually all of these. This one was the move up through here. We made great money on. The cool part about all of these is that actually this one just was this past year in the blockchain space. We're now in a growth environment. Most of these trades were actually pulled off through a non-growth environment, which is pretty hard to do. So I'm super stoked that we're back in a growth environment, because this is what happens in growth environments. These things just, they rocket higher. And man, I mean, I'm just so excited for the sites, the students, and the people that I've had the privilege to work with over the past few years, to get them to the point where they understand these models. Because I'm telling you, man, there is just fortunes to be made here. This is going to be a lot of fun. I already have like a list of ones that are already loaded up and ready to go, and we're just waiting, and these ones are on the launch pad. This is one that I think could go any day now. I mean, look at that chart. You tell me. Look at that OBV. I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, just look at this chart. That's $1.50. I like to try and get 3x on my money. Is it realistic from 7-8 cents a share to get 3x? That's like 25 cents, 2 bits. And I tell you, this stock's probably going to be up here around $1 at some point. I mean, look at that goddamn OBV. So anyway, I mean, I'm not telling you to buy it. I couldn't give a shit if you buy it or not. In fact, I would even say don't pay that. You should probably be paying this price down here. But point of matter here is we're loaded up, ready to go. And, you know, if anything, I like, as I said there a moment ago, you know, we got Fjord now firing like I think I showed you the other day. We had just incredible signals off of like the bigger markets. And things like key reversal signals. So you want to trade the big markets. I mean, this was just absolutely textbook, that crazy Dow Jones Industrial Average key reversal. And the market just tanked. You know, the TD Bank, I'm in that. No, I'll just leave that alone. It's 2023 trade. So, I mean, you want to trade big stocks? We can trade them all with technical criteria. You know, crypto. it's interesting. I think actually a lot of bottoms are starting to come in on crypto. I think crypto looks really, really interesting in here. So, I mean, we've got, not whether it be technical or whether it just, be like fundamental screens to set you up in. Oh, the future is incredible. All I got to do is just try and keep my nose clean. Look at this little guy, ORS, 6.5 up a penny, 250,000. Look at that bottom trying to come in there. Look at the bottoms in the RSI and OBV. Yeah, that bottom in OBV as well here. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen, but you tell me. Has that thing got any chance to move up here at all? You can't even see what the hell the price is with all the damn writing. Yeah, there's a gap right up there. Look at that, right up there. I'm going to leave this line on the chart. Right, so that's at $2.50. Let's just see how long it takes for that damn line level to be tagged. But it's just, this is the type of market. Oh, geez, did it just bump up there? Oh no, I thought I saw 9 cents. Oh, now I'm hallucinating. Way to go, Brian. So little juniors, sort of. We have fun on Tuesdays, we have a fun meeting, TRI, Secret Option Formula Club meeting. We're just sort of waiting on a lot of these sort of like intermediate type stocks. I mean, it's good to see. I've talked about this before. I think crypto and blockchain are a leading indicator. If I understand correctly, there is a big Bitcoin conference. They've got some of the heavy hitters, popular mutual fund managers, social media tycoons, electric car manufacturers coming and talking Bitcoin at some sort of big circle jerk event. I don't know. I mean, I'd love for it to have put a bottom in. I think that sort of by the rumor kind of event here is what's going on here. I think it sort of started middle of yesterday and it's carried on here through today. I do see that quite a bit. These are up, right? The question here is, can these people inject enough buying interest to actually get the buyers to step up and spend some money here? Like on the coin itself. I mean, great if they can rally the stock, but look at it, it's on no volume. So how real is this actual move up? And of course, we have this big M staring us right in the face here. So they've got a bit of uphill slogging to do. I think you can see it well in the crypto names themselves. Like here, this is Bitcoin 4 hour. We often talk about wicks and tails. So a good example of wicks, tails, beg your pardon, need to be eaten. And notice on this low, up, down, kind of a W. It's not the best example, but not a bad example of an Adam and Eve type reversal. We won't really know whether this thing's for real or not until we're actually trading above that level there, though. So I would say, even kind of like what you say here, we were down at the bottom end of the range. And all we've done is come now even just back to the midpoint of the range, not even up in the upper half of this range. So I don't know. I mean, somebody's got to step up and start spending some serious money. And the problem is I don't really see anything out of Washington to say that whole sort of political sort of juggernaut is been resolved yet.
It's weird as
hell. So I don't think you're going to get it there.
It's always evolving, and it just reminded me.
I like to follow these guys, just see what the sort of talking heads are. Powell has broad support among top Biden aides for new Fed term. So it sounds to me like the politicians and the banksters are all in love with each other, and that will probably just continue on. Washington might have to go to war to fight a housing bubble. That's interesting. Does it have the tools to win? That sort of talk of how the feds have kind of lost control of the economy. U.S. stocks rise and Dow extends rebound. Stock market you can see is relatively happy. Interesting. Tech stocks a little bit heavy. Where's the leadership? Interesting how the leadership right now is out of the energy pits. And actually, I put a tweet out today. what I see happening here, ironically enough, is all the political pressure within the United States is going to do nothing more than just send the business overseas. U.S. businesses within the energy patch, they're going to just disappear. And sadly, this is going to create more energy dependence on countries you Americans don't like. So Greta is happy, maybe, because at least now local Americans aren't endorsing the energy business. But don't get me wrong, or don't get anybody wrong. The demand for oil is not going anywhere. I mean, you have to stop people from driving cars. That's the way you stop the demand for oil. I heard the other day that Europe is going to set an aggressive agenda that there will be no more gasoline-powered vehicles for sale in Europe after 2035. What? That's like 15 years from now. So what's happened here, and I put a tweet out to this effect, because this is, in my opinion, this is actually really big, is Greta, and you gotta love her. She is advocating for the environment, and it doesn't really matter. What she's really doing is she is screwing over American business. Because what's going to end up happening now is that American oil producers are going to be shut down. You know, things like, this is great political fodder for a guy like Biden. He can say, look I can make my foreign weapons purchasers, because keep in mind, Barack Obama, he was the biggest salesman of U.S. military hardware in U.S. history to overseas customers. He often will pay up debts. Well, he did, and I would imagine Mr. Biden will do the same thing with U.S. military contracts. If we can artificially inflate the oil price by putting American oil producers out of business, then those foreign buyers of U.S. military hardware are more than happy to even increase their purchase orders because the price of oil has been conveniently moved up. And keep in mind that, you know, the oil will still be demanded, whether it be industry, whether it be consumers. The demand for oil is not changing. I mean, you have to mandate no more gasoline-powered vehicles. That's it. No more. And you'll never be able to do that. So what's ending up happening here is now the trend in U.S. crude imports is now gaining momentum. It's funny, I told the people on the site today, well, thank you very much from Canada. You're buying our oil now, and Greta can't say dick. I mean, maybe she can say something to Canadians. They're so damn PC. But how about a country like Venezuela? Do you think anything Greta says has any bearance on Venezuela? How about Russia? How about Saudi Arabia? I mean, we could just go through the list of all, ironically enough, most of the oil-producing countries in the world couldn't give a flying fuck about people like Greta. So it's so ironic. And that's the tragedy of all this, is what's really happening with people like Greta is they're just taking dollars right out of your Americans' hands. I mean, at least the money stayed within the United States when you got your oil from like North Dakota and stuff. Not in this world, which is kind of sad. You Americans should be even angrier now. But I don't know. I don't think that message got through. The message was just, oh, quit beating up on Greta. Greta's so sweet. She's so nice. I'm like, hey, don't you see what's going on here? It drives me nuts. Oh, well. The interesting thing about the market here, and this is good to see, you know, like I said, if you are a crypto bull, what you really hope for is these cheerleaders, if you will, of crypto can somehow sort of, pound the table, pound the drum beat, and get you speculators back in on the long side of the market. I'm getting the impression you can kind of see, 1 hour powerful divs. So they're definitely, and you can see once the bull div, this is what we teach in our education programs. Once the bull div comes in, boom, right there, right? You can see it as plain as day. So once that bull div comes in, at this point now you can start hunting W's, and gee whiz, look at what we got. Boom. Nice buy signal there, and there's your nice trade. Not bad. The only problem here is, does this translate into higher time frames? So here now, this is the 4 hour. So that rally that you saw that set up the trade on the 1 hour, that that market has now, that rally, that 1 hour rally has set up this 4 hour divergence. I don't know whether you can see that or not. So that's good. This is probably the start of that conference. There's probably a bunch of short covering going on here. Can we see a spat of new buying? So now to set up the 4 hour trade, now that the bull div is confirmed, now we want to wait for a W in price. So give us a W, and that will set up this trade. All right? And ideally, we'd like to see the potential reward box bigger than the potential risk box. So we'll see how that goes. That's probably the way I would look at it right now. So encouraging. Let's hope that this big circle jerk puts a floor in the crypto market. But I did notice, and I'm seeing this more and more, is things like NFT plays are actually catching a bit of a bid. Where's the best example? I think Kevin, he had a couple of NFT plays. I noticed like this YVR jumped up the other day. So I believe that the NFT part of the market is actually the leader here. If there's going to be a leader, and I see this in things like the Ethereum price chart. So, I don't mind that. Good looking Adam and Eve. The only problem with that is these are clotheslines. That's a tail. So that means that this is actually a new V bottom on a clothesline basis, especially if we go higher time frame. But check out something like ETH. Look at that chart. Isn't that interesting? So here's that double bottom. Here's that same sort of concept. This was, the tail. So sort of Adam, and then the W here, the Eve here. And then, like we said, they're off of Bitcoin. This is a new candle low. So it was going to have to be tested at some point. Big rally, and boom, there's your test. Okay, it looks like we're holding. And then lo and behold, here comes another little W and rally. And hopefully you can see it. If you, heading into this conference today, it kind of makes sense that, there is a nice bull div. It looks like it's been confirmed here. Looks like there's another bull div. We call this a double divergence. So, had you been sitting there this morning saying, there's a conference coming up, this thing's been one directional, we're right down against the bottom end of the range, I'm going to go pick some up and just see if Kathy Woods and all these kind of crazy, sort of social influencers du jour, let's see if they've got any legs here. Let's see if they can ramp this thing. And you can see, trade's working away. I suppose at this point, this would probably be like maybe take partial profits on the actual beginning of the event. Something like that line to that line. Yeah, you can see how we're coming up into that level. My hunch is, too, that's probably a fib off of that range. So, I think the trade, right, if we just go RLZs, boom. Whoops, that's backwards. So 38.2, 50%, pretty normal. I like the idea. Maybe take partial profits here. Had you taken that trade, move your stop to scratch on the remaining, and just see where the wind blows. If we're lucky, this whole bottom holds. Kathy Woods comes out and says everybody's going to get rich if you buy Bitcoins, and everybody listens to her and piles in on the long side. And we get a nice little pop through the top here, maybe nice little consolidation right after the breakout. And we put in a bottom, and away we go on our summer rally. Definitely possible. Likely, I don't know. I mean, the good part about it is you can see how when we bottomed out here, nice push higher. Took a while for us to roll over and start heading back down. So we've gone and W'd out here. My hunch is this push is going to go on for a while, and then we'll see whether it rolls over and we start emming out and we have to head back down. For the short term, and while the conference is going on here today, and probably the rest of, the better part of today, we should see Uppy, and it'll probably take some time for this to roll over. So enjoy the atmosphere for the time being. There's a ton of these names that all basically look like this. I mean, like a lot of crypto looks like this. Which means that, like I said, coming out of that conference, if you guys actually step up and do some buying, look, there's another one. If we actually step up and do some buying and we can get up through the top here, we might actually have something to work with. Still a little bit early, but let's see how we go. Remember, Brian's usually right, but he's usually early. This would be a good example where I think there's money to be made on the long side of this market, but I'm probably still a little bit early. And maybe we have to just jostle around a little bit like that and then go. That wouldn't surprise me. So, and, you just go through the name after name after name. This is one that's really popular on the site right now, Luna. And it really textbook example of just backing it up into Mountain Man, good old reload zone. And actually, we have a 3-bar fractal now to work with. If we finish today here, and then we tick up through the top, tomorrow, that actually becomes a buy signal. So we might actually get some buy signals coming out of this. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so I think that's basically your market message. Like I said, looks like the circle jerk is going well with Kathy and the boys. I hope she has fun. I think there's about 3 or 4 guys in her, so she should have some fun. I didn't say anything. Just that she should have some fun. We'll call this dead cat bouncy for the time being. Let's see this thing have some legs and get its butt up there, and maybe we got something to work with. But for the time being, I'm just going to still be in that. I'm from Missouri. You got to show me that this is really bottomed, or I'm still... All right. I don't know. That's about a half hour, 45 minutes of nothing. All right. Have yourselves a great day, everybody. Hope you enjoyed that. All the best, and bye for now.